Right then, guys, we are live, and this time we are going to have gameplay. Sorry about the technical glitch there. It's actually my own fault. Yeah, I haven't used a countdown slash image at the start before, so it's new for me. I'm going to actually go ahead and start the gameplay in just a second before I talk through what we're going to be doing today. So what happened in the last video is, well, in the previous video, the last video, we'd arrived here at a goods factory in town. We had brought a job, and then we randomly selected a job, which was actually to drop off our job that we'd brought here. So that was quite fortunate, really. So I was quite pleased that we had the opportunity to do that. But we've done a number of random jobs, which have been pretty fun. But what I want to do in this live stream, which we're actually live streaming for the very first time on YouTube with Derail Valley, we are going to hopefully head back in the direction of picking up our bits and bobs across the way. So we've got our slug that we've left at Steel Mill, but the whole idea of this live stream is to actually head back eventually to City South. Now, like I said, we've got a couple of things that we need to do to complete the game. So what we need to do is we need to restore our 282, and in doing that, that will be us complete basically on this standard gameplay run through before we move on to the harder difficulty. So that's basically the plan, guys. It's to head to harbour. And because we've got, so sorry, I'm not really explaining this very well, but anyway, the whole plan is to complete the game by restoring the 282. But we've got a slug which is parked at Steel Mill that we need to collect, and we've got a DH4 at harbour. So what I'd like to do is tie everything together by pulling all our locos together at City South before we move on to our next video, which will be to restore the 282. So that, I hope that makes sense. Hey Neil, thanks for joining. Hey, greetings. Wow, South Africa. Wow, that's awesome. How are you doing today? So what I'm going to do is take a look and see what jobs we've got available. Now, I've picked up 2 already that I've got in my inventory. So I've got the actual one job which is going to Steel Mill, which is a 5-car empty haul, which should be pretty easy. We've got our DE6 with us here, so that'll be very easy. Or we could take this bigger load back to harbour first, which I think will be a better challenge, a little bit more interesting, and a better test of the DE6, even though it's obviously well and truly capable of pulling 600 tonne. But I think that'll be more fun than pulling these empty cars. Now we are going to, if we don't take this one to Steel Mill, and we take this one instead to harbour, then we are going to have to eventually go back and get the slug, because I just don't want to leave it there, you know what I mean? I want to pull everything together. Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks Neil. Really appreciate you joining me today. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the gameplay. Hope it makes sense. But I think this one would be a great job for us anyway, the 36 job. So I'm going to run over here because I want to show you the sheer length of this set of cars here. So 12 cars, it's just started raining as well, which is going to be an additional little challenge. So there we go. So it's these cars that we're going to be taking to harbour, I think, would be a much better and more interesting job than the Steel Mill one. So let's grab our DE6. So she is actually pointed in the right direction here. So if we reverse out and back up that track, so if we reverse out of here and back up this track, we'll then be pointing in the right direction to head out to harbour, which will take us then down this way to harbour. So I think let's get everything set up as we normally would. Parking brake is on. So we just serviced this one in our last video. So do we still have power on? Yes, we do. Right, so we can start her up. And assume the position. Lights are already on nicely. got our brakes off, which is nice. So yeah, we'll reverse her up. Wow, what is going on with the lighting out there? Must be misty. Let's enjoy the sound of this beautiful engine as well while we're reversing up here. We're unable to see what's actually behind us. Visibility in the DE6 is obviously not its forte, but I do love driving this Loco from the internal view anyway. It's just beautiful. So while we're reversing up, what I will say is obviously we're heading into D yard. I'm just going to check the switch is correct, yeah. And then D, we want to be down the other end from where we are. So, I still have a problem figuring out. So that would be us heading like that, down to the other end, where we'll be, I think we'll be reversing into 7 to get our set of 12 cars which are going to harbour. So I think that's right. Right, let's magic that. And put a tiny bit of wipers on, although they're not totally necessary at this point. Right then, let's focus on what we're doing. So yeah, so we'll head down the other end and then get reversed up to these cars, and then we'll go and validate our orders. So yeah, overall guys, I really hope you've enjoyed this playthrough. I have enjoyed it immensely. I can't wait to move on to expert mode. And yeah, we'll be aiming to do that obviously just as quickly as possible. But yeah, I'm not in any rush to complete these jobs either, so I'm happy to chat. If you guys are in the live, please do give me a shout. I'd love to hear from you. And I hope you've got a drink as well, guys. It is really hot in the UK here today. It's going to get up to, I don't know, 27, 28, which isn't a lot compared with some countries, but yeah, it's going to be nice and warm today. So I've got a coffee, but I've also got some water as well, because yeah, certainly dehydration's going to be a factor if we're not careful. Alright, I'm hoping to not have any fails, so we'll say that now before we actually get started. But as you can see, we're already rolling back because we're slightly uphill here. So that will be a good test actually when we get connected up here as to what sort of time we're going to have pulling this slot, because we have got an uphill battle immediately coming out of this station. So we'll get a bit of independent brake on here. Very difficult to see, but I am trying to obviously roleplay this from the internal cab as opposed to using F2. I think we're about there. There we go. We've rolled back a tiny bit, so I think we might need to give her a little bit more, but we'll find out when we get out. Oh no, we're spot on. Right, we're pretty much good to go there. What I'll do is just release that parking brake and we'll just put some train brake on. And I'll just release the independent. I'm going to shift it into forward and I'm going to go and validate this order. And just allow those brakes to pressure up. If I can find the station house, that would be ideal. Alright, so we decided we're not going to take that steel mill one. Giving ourselves a bit of a bigger challenge by taking over 600 ton. And yeah, as I said at the start, I'll just go through it again. So the idea of this live stream is to prepare for the restoration of the 282, which is our very last locomotive that we need to restore. And that is obviously currently back at City South at the moment with our other bits and bobs. We do have a couple of loose ends around the map in that we have our D6 slug here at Steel Mill that I'd like to collect. I would have liked to have collected that on the way back to harbour, but there's only one job going out of here at Steel Mill, and that is this one here, which is just 5 empty cars. Now that would be very easy, and I don't want to give myself an easy job. We're doing a live stream. It's supposed to be at least remotely entertaining, right? So my idea is instead to take a heavier job back to harbour, where we also have got a DH4 that we can take back to City South, but I do want to collect that slug as well. So we'll go back to harbour first, go and get the slug, and then we'll hopefully by that point have everything back at City South after. In some way, we'll take a job to take us back here. So yeah, that's the idea. I don't know how long it'll take us to do this, but we'll certainly have a good time. Right, so let's stop blabbering and let's get this into the validator. And this is the job that we've collected from D7, and we're heading to C2I at harbour. So let's put that job away, and now that we're validated, we're ready to head out. So let's hop up here and release our brakes. And like I said, we are slightly uphill here, so the first test really to see how we're going to get on is getting out of here. No problem at all. DE6 is absolutely masterful at pulling weight, and yeah, fantastic start. What I'm going to do is switch to my route map and just indicate that as we're coming out of here, that switch needs to be right, this one needs to be left, that needs to be left, and that will take us into harbour. And then once we get into harbour, we want to be around there. That switch is correct, that one is correct, because what we'll do is reverse into C for our drop off. So with all that done and everything nicely set, we are ready to focus on driving. And I hope you really enjoy this one, guys. I don't think we've got any massive uphill bits. I'm going to close this window now as we start to hear the engine pick up. It's going to get loud otherwise. And there we go. See it nicely feeding round. You see, we're almost on full power though. The slug would be so useful here, just for that extra bit of pulling power. And as you can see, we've got that line which goes above us there. In fact, I'll switch to the external view for this. We've taken that line so many times now as a bypass to goods factory in town. If you're heading up north, especially to the likes of military base and that type of thing, as you can see, it winds off there into the distance quite nicely. I don't know about you guys, but I do love coffee on a morning. If I could have it my way, I'd have a latte every morning, but I do like to mix it up as well through various means. Right then guys, here we go. So we are kind of still uphill here really, and what I don't have in this Loco is a inclinometer, so I've got it in the DH4. And I think I've got one in the DE2, or I have one in the tool shed. To be fair, if I've got one in the tool shed, I could have probably fitted it here. I should have checked before we set off, but oh well, we're on our way now. See if we can get a nice shot here of this. See if I can get a nice screenshot here to use as a thumbnail. I think that'll do nicely. I just love this game. I love the sound there. So majestic. I don't even want to speak over it really. Oh, you like to switch over to tea, Neil? Yeah, that's not a bad idea, to be fair. I hardly drink tea, to be honest with you. As a Brit, we tend to find you get like either people that like coffee or like tea. But I do like both actually. I don't mind both of them. I just generally prefer coffee. Alright, so we got the 40 limit here, and if I remember rightly, there is a number of limits here. So this is the track where it would split here to take you either to goods factory in town or to bypass. So if I remember rightly, there's a tunnel at some point here coming up where we have to be really careful with the speed. Yeah, generally Brits do love the tea, to be honest with you. A lot of people that I know like tea. Even my parents really like tea, but then again, I think that's it. I think coffee is an American influence, but it's good stuff. Like, there's no doubt about that. Still take my coffee with milk though, so it's hardly as if I'm totally embracing the American way. Oh man, Yorkshire tea is good. Like, I'd say Yorkshire tea is the best, to be fair, although people may argue otherwise. There's people that like sold out on Tetley tea. And then there'll be the Twinings folks as well. So what we got here is a 60 limit followed by a 50, and then we're gonna, I'm pretty sure there's a 30 coming up here, if I'm correct. So we've got this sweeping turn here, and I think after this tunnel it's 30, so I'm just going to start to apply a little bit of brakes. In fact, I keep forgetting I can control the dynamic brake from the keyboard as well with the O and L key. But yeah, a combination of dynamic brake and train brake will see us through here, I think. I might have been a bit premature with that 30 limit because we've got 50 here. Let's have a look outside at this nice little sweeping waterway. Somehow. Yeah, so that's heading east. We've got quite a nice straight here, actually. I wonder what happened to that 30 that I thought we were going to hit. It's probably here. So this is a nice straight piece where we can really get up some speed, but we need to be cautious. Right, so we hit the 60, but yeah, it's this tunnel. I'm pretty sure at the end of this tunnel there's a 30, so we just need to be careful. Yeah, it's a 70. I'm premature, obviously, with the tunnel drama, because we do have a 70 limit here first. Because what it said there is 70 increasing, and there's the increase to 120 kilometers, and then the sign under was a downward arrow, so meaning that it's going to decrease next. And here's the it's a 90, and I'm pretty sure that's a 30. We can use the magic 60. Starting to doubt myself. Maybe they've changed it. I thought there was a 30 at the end of a tunnel. Wow. Why did I get that? Well, we've got 40 here. Wow, that feels rough from there, but we're down to the 40 anyway, so... Yeah, so what we'll do is ease off the train brake for the most part and just manage this with the dynamic brake. You know what I think I'm thinking of? Is that bypass maybe? Because that goes into a tunnel. And it's maybe there where there's a 30 that's thrust upon you like really quickly. Still got a 40 limit here, so we'll just be careful. A lot of 40 going to harbour here because of the twisty track that you get. We'll just apply like dynamic brake here, a little bit more train brake, just tiny bits. So train brake is about half a bar. Dynamic obviously is whatever that is in amps. Where it's negative amps, so we're managing pretty well here. Got a 60 limit next, but it'll be 40 again in a sec, so we'll just be careful. So where do you guys like to watch live streams the most? YouTube or Twitch? Or is there another option that you prefer to watch on? I don't really have a preference. Like personally, I think if I really had to choose, I'd probably just go with YouTube because it's got tons of content outside of live streams, but obviously loads of videos, but of any subject in the world. But what do you think? Where would you prefer to watch live streams? I think that's the question. Alright, 60 limit, but it is coming down next, so we'll just bear that in mind. Don't know whether that was the flash of lightning or just a lighting glitch there, but I certainly saw something. And here we are coming down to 40 now. Again, just the same, just a tiny bit of brake. What, half a bar? And dynamic. Just managing this coming downhill to harbour. Obviously, if you're climbing out of harbour and coming up this way, it's a totally different challenge. Thankfully, this is quite easy going. So there we've got a decline of 1.5. No need for the wipers really when you got this little drizzle of rain coming down. Just flick them on, back off again. So we've got a 70 limit, but I think we are approaching the switch track. Yes, we are. So that switch track is a 40 limit to take us round left into harbour. So you just need to be careful of that, even though it says 60 here. See the decline here that you'd be climbing if you were coming back up this way. It's quite strong now. It's a bit heavier on the train brake here, 1.5 bar. And yeah, we can certainly see harbour, so we're getting there. And there we go, guys. There's our beautiful train coming in. Every train in this game's beautiful, to be fair, though. I mean, doesn't matter if it's these plain style boxcars or whatever. It's just a wonderful experience all around, I think. Yeah, I mean, need to be careful with the brakes here, but yeah, I mean, there's no game that I've ever been paid to promote, and certainly not this one, but I do think the devs are onto something special with this one, if not already achieved, with the plans that they've got for the future as well, with the extra locos that are coming and extensions to the map and whatever else. A few bits to tidy up. I mean, there's still a few bits to tidy up, but generally overall I think that they've done a fantastic job so far with this one, especially considering how long this game has been in development, still in early access. Just release the dynamic brake there. Start to release the train brake as well, get that off. Down to 30 now. I'm going to hop out a sec. And we can watch this come round. As I take a sip of coffee. Wow, you can almost feel the sheer weight of this thing coming by. Just going to check the speed. Yeah, 27. So yeah, we're heading into C anyway, so we're going to C2I to deliver these 12 cars. So, this is the entrance to C, but we're not going to drive in, we're going to reverse in. So we'll wait to pass here and start to put a little bit of brake on. Tons of fun to be had down there. Trying to think where our DH4 is. I think it's over there somewhere. If I remember rightly. Ah, there it is. I think. There it is, just behind that tanker. Wow, we're actually feeding into E here. I think we'll be past... Yeah, just... Well, a little bit more than just, but absolutely fine. So I'm going to start the reversing process. Do this manually with these. And then while I'm doing that, just remind ourselves C2I, so... Just check to make sure I've thrown the right switch there. Well, there is only one. Coming in this way, we're in the centre lane, so yeah, I'm glad we're reversing. And there shouldn't be anything else in this lane, in this incoming lane. Shouldn't be. Although that's not always the case, so we'll back her up. C is actually a fluid loading yard, so these cars that we've got here are, what are they? Furniture in ISCAR chemicals. I'm not entirely too sure what ISCAR is, to be honest with you. Anybody know? Give me a shout, guys. But we do have certainly 12 cars to drop here, and we're going to do it, I would say, well within the time limit. We had 38 minutes. Don't know what we're like for time at the moment, but we're certainly going to do that and get our time bonus as well. And then we'll go and see what we can do next. I just love this type of thing, to be honest with you. Love it. And when I first started playing this game, I really wish there was more like UK locos and stuff. But to be honest with you now, I really don't mind. This game really puts other train simulators to shame, really, overall. And I think when they do add UK stuff in, it's just going to be so good to have the variations of locals. Like, so when they add the UK bits and then they add the US stuff as well, I think it's going to be marvellous. Right. So you don't have to, but I personally like to just reverse up past the signage. Just gives me a little indicator of, you know, the depth to which I am in the siding that I'm going into. But I think it's been clarified by the devs. Somebody had mentioned in one of the comments that on one of my other videos that you only need to be out of the way of the switch track in order to qualify for being in. But we're in there, and I will just switch this to forward. I've got train brake on, so don't need to worry too much about that. I'm going to shut one parking brake on, which is the requirement. I'm going to disconnect and get the brakes disconnected firstly. And there we go, we are disconnected. So let's head across to the train station office, and let's see about getting this order validated. If I can remember where the machine is, that would help. There we go. So yeah, time bonus. So we did that in 24 minutes. So yeah, happy. And we've now, for the first time, gone above 1 million in the wallet, which is, well, do we need any more money? Not really, which is why we are having a great time. We've got all the licenses unlocked and everything, so there's nothing further for us to do in this game apart from to restore the 282. But I did say that I wanted to tie everything together by getting our slug back from Steel Mill. And then I want to head to City South with all of our locos. So, what stage are we at with that? Well, what do we have here that we can take to Steel Mill? Do we have anything? So, it's a case of sifting through these now. Because there's tons of stuff. It's just, what do we actually want to do? Harbour, goods factory in town again. Oil well central. I can't believe... Right, hang on. There's a steel mill. I just can't believe that there's hardly anything going to steel mill. What's that? So that's an unload tractors, which is always good fun. Farm. Wow, there's just... There's nothing really going to steel mill, that's the thing. So don't really have a good reason to go there. Farm could be a good one from here. Do we have more than one thing going to farm? I think... Let's just check these again. So oil refinery, which is up here. That's always fun. Food factory, I'm not going as high as that. Again, oil refinery. So I'll tell you what, let's... I know there's mods and stuff to sort this out for you, but I don't want to use them. I don't want to use any mods. I want to focus on just the main game. So City West. Quite a lot going to City West, actually. Goods factory again. Forest Central. So Forest Central, I believe, is right next to... It's just above farm. So we've got farm, Forest Central, and oil refinery. Harbour, goods. We've got loads for goods. Harbour, machine, food, oil well central again. Oh no, that one, that's right next to farm. Machine factory, harbour and town. So we've managed to compile a bunch of stuff here, which could be useful or could be no use at all, depending on how much we want to challenge ourselves. Or how much I want to challenge myself, I should say. So 400, 500, 550. Call that another 350, say. So 900. 1.2, 1.7. 1.7 thousand tons of jobs potentially going out of here. I know I'm doing far more than what I planned to. Do we have another DE6 over here? Yes, we do. So, what do we want to do? Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree, Megatron. I actually prefer to have the challenge of finding the jobs. Right. I think I'm going to attempt to take all of this just for the actual joke of it all, you know, just for the challenge. So I think what we'll do is get this D6 out of here. Whoops. Hold on. Let's remember the configuration here. We need some of this on as well. Right, let's not forget to align this. Let's not forget to put her in forward as well, because that's not going to work. And yeah, I mean, this is definitely going to be fun. So I think what we'll do here is, let me think this through. I think we need our DH4 at the front. If we're going to compile all of our locos, we're going to need the DH4 at the front, and then we're going to need to turn these guys round actually. So I'm going to put my DE6s back to back, and I'm going to do that by reversing her onto the line, but I'm going to need to pull that DH4 down here first. Yeah, we'll get the loco sorted first, I think. I'm going to switch that one off as well, so we're not using fuel. So what I'll do is, I'll pull her close to where we want to. Could do all this after I've actually got the DH4 into position. But for now, let's pull her close to where we want to. Alright, let's just stop her there, and I will consider my options now, because we need to think about shunting as well and how we're going to do that. So she's sort of ready there to be backed onto the other DE6. And speaking of the other DE6, I'm now going to go and shut her down, because we don't need to pull her out of here just yet. We could technically put the locos together and then just use the whole lot to shunt everything. But I'm going to get my jobs in order first before I start thinking about how we're going to pull it together. We've got a DE2 as well there. Got other locos kicking around. But for now, let's consider that steel mill is going to be the last drop off, because that one is going to come with us all the way through to when we get the slug. So let's just check our inventory to start off with, if I can remember how to do it. Tab. So that's going to be the last job. So I'll put that in slot 1. So we'll work down the numbers to get to where we want. So after steel mill, if we're going to do loads, it's going to be farm next. So ammonium nitrate to farm. Second set of cars in the consist. So immediately behind the Locos, it'll be steel mill because that's the last drop off. Next, farm. I am now going to consider whether we actually want to go as high as oil refinery for these two. I'm probably not going to do that one because that's out the way for what we're doing. And I'm probably not going to go to City West because, again, that's out the way. So I'll probably focus on oil refinery. That one was Forestry South, wasn't it? Oh, no, it's Forestry Central. So we're actually passing through there. Right. So oil well is actually deeper than farm from where we'll be. So we're going to come up here. Forestry Central will be our first drop. Oil well central. Farm steel mill. I think that's going to be the order. And that just happens to be... Oh, I've done that wrong. Right, hang on, let's start again. Right, so, again, trying to think this in reverse order. So our second from last drop is going to be farm. Third from last drop will be oil well central, if I can remember. Yeah. Third from last drop will be forest central. And then these two will be our first drops. I don't know which order they'll be in. Right, so we've got 34 and 85. Hey Stefan, so it's not the final episode in the series. What it is my first ever live stream of this game to tie together heading back to what will be one of our final episodes when I restore the 282, and then I have something else in mind to be the very final episode, which I'm going to which will be revealed at the time. But yeah, we are trying to tie up the loose ends right now of getting our Locos back together. I don't know whether this will be the only live stream that'll get us to the 282 restoration, or whether there'll be something else in between. But yeah, random jobs are over. We're just trying to tie everything back together by getting the slug from Steel Mill, which I probably should have made my life easier by just going there and getting it. But I'm trying to do jobs in order to do it, if that makes sense, and make it entertaining as well. So we've got the 8-5 order and 3-4. So let's go and find those. I'm thinking they might be in C because that's liquids. But there might not be as well. There could be literally anywhere. What have we got down here? 0-9, which is neither of those. Although they could be pushed further back. Right, let's have a look. No. Right, nothing in C for us. So that's probably good. Let's take a dash across the water and try not to sink. I have drowned a couple of times on this game. What do we have over here? 8-6 and 4-9. What about these? 0-6. So nothing there for us out of what we've talked about there. Mind you, there's 0-9. So that one's in C. We'll bear that in mind. Looks like all of these others are going to be dotted around. I dare say that these two will be in G. 3, 4, and 8, 5. In fact, what's that? 3, 4. 3, 4 through to there. And 8, 5 is here at this end. Got a couple of cars in between. Right, so they're going to go right at the very back. So at least we know where they are. Although it's kind of... the opposite of what I'm trying to do. I've lost track of what I'm doing. So what I want is those ones directly behind the Loco. 9-3 and 9-5 directly behind the Loco. Man, I easily get confused, don't I? Right, let's see. So we've got 9-3 to steel mill. So it should be pretty easy to spot these scrap containers. I'm just having a little read of what you're saying here in the chat. Yeah, I thought that was a good idea, Stefan. I may well give that a go. I think I wanted to use my own locos, so I don't know whether I'll do that for more than one episode. I'm just trying to kind of think about it, try and tie everything together as well. But yeah, I do think it's a good idea. It's just also, how do we ensure that it's randomized? So I've been thinking about that as well. Right, here's our scrap containers. So they're going to go immediately behind the locos. So I think what I'll do is I'll utilize the DH4 here. Which direction is the DH4 pointing? It's pointing in the wrong direction as well. Right, I think what we'll do is we'll just load up. How is she for fuel? Half. Well, she doesn't need to run the entire thing. I do like the idea though, Stefan. I like the idea of just doing a random one. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea as well. I think using a random selection would be pretty cool. I don't think the mouse option really works. I mean, I've tried it a couple of times, and because it's a failure, I think it proves that it is random. But it's not ideal. Yeah, so I've been thinking about the random stuff for like quite a while now, in terms of what am I actually trying to achieve? And I think the overall thing is challenge. So I think having played a fair number of hours of this game, like not as many as some will have played. I know some of you guys have played over like 500 hours and stuff like that. I'm actually only just over 200 hours now, and most of that has been recorded. So thankfully I've managed to at least work up a decent knowledge of how to play the game during that time, and I do feel fairly confident in just being able to randomly select any job now and just take it. And even if it's like a massive failure, I think it would be quite funny, because we're at the end of the game now. We don't really need money. So yeah, I think a random selection tool would be really awesome. The only problem is you can't select a job and then spawn you couldn't then spawn your Loco, as I said, without randomly selecting it. So I think you guys have come up with a great solution there. And I don't know why I'm not using my remote here. Right, what I'm going to do is literally start piecing this consist together, just utilising this now. Because as much as it sounds like a great idea to shunt this consist together, and I could do that using the an available DE2, I'm just conscious that I need to get this DH4 to the front. There's no achievements. I didn't know that. To be honest with you, I really don't pay much attention to achievements anyway. I'm gonna have a quick look. I wonder if achievements will be something that they'll add when they... you probably get a load of music. Oh, there we go. I'm actually looking on the Steam page instead of concentrating on driving, but yeah, so as achievements go, I don't really bother with them on Steam. I used to be more into them when I played more on Xbox, but where I was big into achievements actually was on PlayStation. Trophy hunting was a big one for me, but yeah, I didn't even notice it doesn't have achievements. Maybe they'll add it with like the final, whenever they get to a full release of the game. Oh, we've gone well and truly past where I want it to be there, but anyway. Not the end of the world. It's amazing to think that this isn't the full release and that this game is still in early access. That to me is mind-blowing almost. So we can use this to couple up here. So that's going to make life easier. And then by reversing this, yeah, we can then push back. So what I'm going to do is start throwing these switches just to make sure that we are heading down to E. And I didn't take note of which lane it was, but it's certainly over that way, isn't it? Oh yeah, me too. I'm super looking forward to it, Stefan. So I mentioned it in episode 100, and I didn't really go into a great deal of detail, but it is going to be awesome to have the extra locos, the new stations. There's new villages as well. I'm not too sure what that will be like, the kind of like what impact that will have, or whether they'll just be like scenic. But most definitely, I think the electrification of the lines will be a huge step. I mean, they are going to have to dual track the entire map as well at some point, which will be a huge undertaking. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just go and see where we're going here. I think I can see the cars that we're after. It's not those. Where are they? So they're actually in the very far but one lane, so it's let's see where we're at. I think we're... oh no, we're not. I thought we were switched correctly there. We're not. There we go. So those are the babies that we're after to go directly behind the locos. Is 9-3. Yeah, the passengers would be awesome. Yeah, that SO60 needs something to just give it more range. It's wild how short it is. I know there was somebody who commented on I think it was episode 100, and they said they're interested in the game and they've been keeping an eye on it, but they're just disappointed by the lack of steam engines. I mean, personally, I do enjoy the steam locos, and I think they're a thrill to drive because they do give you a real sense of achievement, because of the difficulty level. But there's also some elements there that need a bit of work. I do think there's an unrealistic startup for them. Oh, battered those, and I've hit them a bit hard there. But yeah, I think the startup is too short for the steam engines, by far. I think they need to work on that. Oh yeah, absolutely does. It uses so much fuel. It's unreal. And the nerfs that they've put in place in terms of its power output, should I say, is just ridiculous. I'm just going to check quickly just to see where we're going next with our pickups. So we're looking for 9.5, which is some red cars, which I think might be these. Yeah. Right, so this is going well so far. So we're going to be into lane 3 next. So let's pull these babies forward. So bear in mind we've only got one loco switched in here. So we're moving what we've got so far with just the one loco. Yeah, multiplayer would be cool. I think it'd be fun to connect with some of you guys on multiplayer as well, and yeah, I think there's I don't know whether you guys have heard of a game called Run 8. I've been following that game for some time now, and that's got like a very serious multiplayer community. I haven't actually played the game, so I don't have any experience of actually what it's like to play it. But it does have a very strong community, and I'd be interested to see what this game would be like with multiplayer, like in terms of would it still be fun? I think so. But the inclusion of AI trains as well, I think, is an interesting one. I would like it to be useful. So I very briefly touched on this, and I can't remember which video I talked about it. But I would like to be able to, when I'm loading up like this, I would like to be able to send a train to do a job for me. So for example, these cars here. Let's say I want to go and do something else. I want to go and have a look at the station office or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something. It worked in the last video when I talked about it. I'd like to be able to send a Loco and say, right, AI train, I want you to go down there and push some cars up here for me. And I want you to push them to there and wait and don't do anything else. That's the type of AI inclusion I would like to see. But the devs, I think, when they're talking about AI, they're talking about I don't know, AI passenger trains or something like that, kind of similar to what you'd see in Train Sim World. Yeah, absolutely, Megatron. That would be fantastic. Like if we were all playing now, for example, yeah, absolutely. Doing a multi-drop job with other players would be fantastic. I think with Run 8, it's got like you can assign somebody as a dispatcher, so you could say, right, I don't know, harbour dispatcher, which is obviously, I think it's the biggest station and with the most, you know, lanes and stuff, most yards. You could say, right, okay, so-and-so, I need you to go and take, I need you to go hop over to E3 and take that where it needs to go. And then the person would be like, oh yeah, roger, whatever, like, blah, 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 pick it up, and then you see that train go out of harbour while somebody else is shunting something. Yeah, we absolutely need double tracks. With multiplayer, absolutely. Right, what is next? Well, we need next all these 09, which was it those? 29. Was 09 over at C? Yeah. So I think they were back at E Yard, weren't they? Bear in mind, we've only got one Loco on still here, so our DE6 that we're renting is doing all the work here. Should probably use our own, but not too fussed at this stage in the game. Is she actually moving? Oh, I don't have that on. It's no use if you're just pressing keys and not actually operating the train, is it? Wow. So I'd pressed all the right keys, just didn't have the remote up, which is no use. Man, that D6 sounds so good though. Alright, we'll use the remote this time instead of just pressing keys just randomly for no reason, which didn't have any effect. So there we go. I might switch the other D6 on in a sec. We'll reserve the DH4 and its additional little added bit of power for as and when it's required. But 09 we have now got. So we're going, I think this is back down to E Yard for pickup, which will be pickup 4, sorry, and that is going to be, I think it's over here. I saw some red. Yep. E1. E10. So that will be next. So yeah, we're loading up, guys, and everything's going well so far. I'm gonna hop along to the very end of this set of cars now. And as you can see, we've already got a pretty lengthy train to pull out of harbour here. I'm already starting to feel conscious that we've got a climb coming out of here, heading uphill, so that should be interesting. Right, back we go. So after we've got this one, this will be pickup 4. Then we've got a smaller one running to, I can't really see, that oil refinery. Need to be under a light. There we go. Oil refinery, 3 cars, which will be added onto this one, which I think they were in. So those last 2 are in G yard. So we might need the DE2 to go and get those for us, because there's a bunch of cars in between them. So I think we'll utilise the DE2 for that. Our own DE2 is back at City South. So I think with going back to the double track thing, Ron, I think they're going to be adding not only double tracks but also passing points as well. So that will mean that they'll need signals, won't it? Which, Stefan, you've just mentioned, literally. The words are coming out my mouth and you've said it. I don't know what the delay's like on the audio, but it was almost perfectly in sync. But yeah, I would like to see them do literally nothing to penalise you if you run a red, apart from maybe to get a fine of some description. I really can't stand the fact that on Train Sim World, if you run a red signal, the game just, you know, kicks you back to the main menu. I know that in real life it would lead to like huge delays if you run a red. If you were to run a red, you'd have to stop. You know, there'd have to be an investigation of whatever. You'd have to go reverse back up and stuff like that, and have all that authorized and whatever else. Like, obviously, in real life, it's a totally different scenario, but to kick you back to the main menu on Train Sim World, I think is just so frustrating. So I would say and hope, I would suggest to the developer that they don't go that route. Wow, 1DE6 is managing this load up without any fuss. How long's this? I think what I'm going to have to do here, as I said, is utilise the DE2 to put this final bit together. Oh, absolutely. There's so many wishes with this game, but thankfully, all the things that we've discussed today here are all things that are in the notes for what's to come. And I don't think the things that they've mentioned are just kind of nice to haves. I think they're all things that the dev's going to put in the game, I would dare say. I would go as far to say if it's on the website for what's to come, I would say it's coming. Those things are coming. Passenger service, yes. Double tracking, yes. Multiplayer, no. I don't think multiplayer will be anything which is on the radar anytime soon. But AI trains, yes. Passing points, yes. All those things are mentioned on the website, unless it's been changed since the last time I looked at it. Oh, I've stopped in the wrong place there. That's for like the passenger services. Let's go a bit more forward. I say the passenger services, of course. That's something which is to come, isn't it? Can't really see it there, but D. Oh, which one is it? It's B, isn't it? Oh no, not B. F. F yard. Right, so what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to... Wow, yeah, we are decently loaded up now. I'm going to go and grab this D2. If I can remember how to start it up. I know it gets really, really dark. It seems like it's darker than usual, but having said that, the sun is blazing here in real life, so this room's quite well lit, so that doesn't help, does it? The contrast on the eyes is quite significant. Right, so what I'm going to do here is go down the other end of this lot, and this yard, sorry, and grab those couple of cars. Actually, hold on. Now that's going to present a problem in itself. Actually, no, it isn't. We'll go and get these cars. I'll have to figure out the next step. Just thinking about this. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull them all out backwards, and then I'm going to shunt the one odd car into one of these lanes, and I'm going to reconnect them all up, pull them back again, and then take them all to our consist. Yeah, so we want these cars and those ones, and we've got a couple in the middle there. So we'll cut those out. What we'll do is pull the whole lot down there. And then I'll push... disconnect the car, the troublesome couple of cars, and push those into one of the lanes. That makes sense. And I've just hit them really hard. Which has sent them off. Right, let's push them a bit further. So we've got two lots there. Right, that should be all of them now. Whoa, what is going on? physics at play there. Wow. Right, how many cars have we got here? So we've got 3 there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 I count. It'll be the cut-off point for this little manoeuvre. Is that right? Yeah, there we go. Right, so that's done it. So what I'll do is continue pulling these. Don't know whether that's the easiest way to do it. If anybody has got any other ideas of how to cut out these unwanted cars that were stood on, give us a shout. But I'm going to push them in here basically, and then they're done. They're done and out the way. Which way are we facing anyway? So that Loco now needs to be backwards. I thought we were the other way anyway. Right, so we're making good progress here. We're going to pull these guys up here and then basically take them to the rest of our consist. That's us fully loaded. I reckon I've probably got about an hour left of streaming time, absolute maximum. So we'll try and get as much done as possible. Battery's low on my remote control. I have a charger in the DH4, so I'll stick it on charge. I think we take a lot of freedoms for granted though with this game. Like, I'm not concerned at all about that Loco down there because I know it's not going to run into anything, so I can focus on being down here with my remote control. But when we get AI trains and other players potentially at some point, it's a totally different thing, isn't it? Which is what I was trying to the point I was trying to make in my episode 100. So we currently have the full freedom of the map. It belongs to us. There's no other human player or AI player involved. In fact, all we have is basic instructions of where to take each order. So what we don't have is anybody interfering with that. We either get it right or we get it wrong, and it's that simple. The only worries that we have is, as far as avoiding other traffic on the tracks, is other, cars parked. We know where the locos are going to be. We know where our stuff is. We know what we're doing most of the time. Unless we forget, of course, like I do. But we are in control of the map, aren't we? It's our playground. Oh, I'm getting a flashing battery here on this remote. So what we'll do here. Because what could happen here is I could fly off down here at like 30 k's, end up with the remote dying, and then having no way of stopping this train. So let's just take it easy. I don't know about you, Ron, but I kind of really do like owning the map myself. So I hope that multiplayer and AI trains are things that you could switch off or turn on, depending on your preference, Oh, this remote has just died. So it's really good that I didn't go flying off down there. So there is a remote charger which used to come with the caboose when you find that, but it's now a separate device that you install. So I've got one installed in the DH4. The other way to charge it is to have sunlight, because it's got a solar panel thing here, solar charging option. So yeah. That's the two methods. I'm going to have to do a bit of cheekiness here on the brakes. I'm going to let out this pressure, which will bring us to a stop. Kind of difficult to judge. Didn't want to be going that slow, but anyway, it'll do. To be fair, I think she's stopped, so we'll just let the rest of that pressure out just to hold her where she is. We'll go and charge this remote and we'll back up whatever, couple of feet there. Meter or so, if you work in metric. So, this remote goes on here. So you place it with, what key is it? R or V. You could toss it on with V, but that'll go on there and then it'll charge up. I'll pair it up with this actually. thanks for the dramatic warning, but it's basically warning us that it's charging. There, it's done. So it's quite quick, thankfully. Right, so what we can do is see if the DH4 will manage this. But you can hear that brake pipe still letting out air there, even though it would be totally empty by now. Let's see if the DH4 manages pushing these guys back a bit. Can't barely see anything, but we are connected up. Right, let's get everything set to forward. So what we'll do is, I think, let's go and see what time it is, because I think we'll sleep and drive in the daylight. So it's the early hours. Let's sleep for a bit. Actually, a bit longer than that. And hope that, you know, everything's alright when we get back. I always think, oh, what's changed? So we've still got all of our jobs, which is good. We'll put the torch back. Oh, look at the weather. What's the weather going to be like today? Let's have a look. So not great now. And it hits a bit of a dull spot there. But bear in mind, that's the weather forecast here. This could change as we go. Right, what we'll do to start off with is then we'll get rid of our DE2. We'll just leave it there. It'll despawn. Right. Parking brakes should be off. And actually, when we connected up there, the brake lines were reconnected, which means that this will all be repressurized, so we don't need to worry about brakes locking on. Or the brakes still being locked on, should I say. What we don't have is a great deal of run up here, but we probably have got enough here with these 3 locos. I'm going to release, just make sure everything's good to go. This needs switching. Yeah, we've got a parking brake on there as well. I'm going to fire up this baby. It's probably like overkill power-wise, but I dare say 1.7 thousand tons. If it rains, these babies will help us out an incredible amount. So, did I check that? Yes. Right, let's just make sure. I think we're good to go here, guys. I'm just going to go and validate these orders. So our first drop-offs are going to be at Oil Refinery. So that's where we're heading first. And we're going to A5S and A3S. So I think A yard is the bigger yard at Oil Refinery. So it's good to know that those two right at the very back, those 2 sets of tankers, will be right next to each other. The drop-offs should be pretty easy. So Let's get our power on and we'll get a move on. Yeah, it's not a bad idea to take the DE2, to be fair. It's not a bad idea, Ron. I do usually like to have a DE2 with us. Unfortunately, we're already on our way now, so I'm going to have to stand by my decision just to crack on as we are. Wow, it's bright in here. It's those white lights I put in. People keep recommending to put in red lights instead. Right, so where are we going? Well, we're coming out of here. We're heading up this way, and then this switch is going to be left. Up here. To oil refinery. We might choose to reverse in there. But yeah, great thinking there, Ron. The DE2 at the end is something that I personally like. I do like that. Wow, I can't see a single thing with those lights. It's the thing is as well, I can't switch those off as well. I don't have a switch for those. We're already up to our 40Ks though, so that's good. Right, let's have a quick look at the route map. So this one needs to be left. That needs to be left. We'll make a decision on what we're doing here when we get there, but I'll have a look now at oil refinery. I was hoping that this was going to be the yard that we're dropping off in. The DE2 would have been perfect. So that's right at the back, A3S, and then A5S. There's ways and means. So one way of tackling this problem is, if I remember rightly, those 6 are at the back, right? So those 6 tankers are right at the very back, which means that when we come into oil refinery, we need to go, if we went in forward, we'd go forward up there and then reverse in there and drop those guys off. We'd then come up here, reverse around this way so that we're now pointing in the opposite direction. We then come forward, then reverse into 5. We're then done. We then head out. So that's the method by which I'm going to use. So that switch needs to be switched to the right, that one to the left. Going up here, that one is to the left, which is correct, up here, and then we're ready to then reverse in here. That switch needs to be there. So once we get past there, I'll switch that switch and we'll reverse in there. Hopefully that makes sense, guys, and hopefully I remember that's my strategy. Let's get a bit more power on coming up here. Still got a decent climb coming out of harbour here, so all of that down section of track that we came down here, we're now heading up. And with the DH4 we do need to be aware of the oil temperature. We can always switch this DH4 off and just see how the DE2s get on. DE6s get on, sorry. I forgot as well, I normally like to do a nice little check on the train as I'm leaving a station, especially with one of this length, just to make sure there's no funny noises, like no hissing on the brakes or anything like that. I didn't do that. So I guess we're well and truly into the end game, where these things aren't as important. Because even if we crash this whole train, I'm not advocating for that, by the way, although it could be quite fun. It's not the end of the world at this point. Anybody want to see the whole thing? Let's have a look. F2. I don't think we'll be able to see the whole thing because of the mist. We kind of have an idea of how long it is there by giving ourselves eye strain. All right, do you mainly do like, so you're doing like model railway, right? Model rail. There we go. Anyway, I think we can just about see the end of the train there now. So hopefully we've got everything, and hopefully the switch is set correctly. We're heading left here, heading west. So far so good. How fast are we going? Maintaining about 40. Thanks, Stefan. Hope you enjoyed it, buddy. Have a good day. I might need to extend this live stream to another session because I don't know how far I'm going to get in the next 40 minutes. But yeah, I'll need to end this at 1 PM UK time. And thanks for the sub, Engage. I'll take a look at your channel. I do like a bit of model rail, although I don't actually have a model train set myself. I do like watching it though. I do know of Heiss. There's quite a few people have mentioned them. I think is he not like a real train driver? I don't know. I might just be making that up. It's just from what people have said in the comment section. Real engineer. Right, yeah. I think somebody had sent that before. To be honest, I try not to check out other people's content when it comes to games that I'm playing at the time, especially. And the good reason for that is because I don't want to in any way replicate what they're doing, even if it's subliminally, if that makes sense. I don't want to be like influenced by other people's content, and I certainly don't want to kind of copy what they're doing in any way. Right, heritage. Oh yeah, that's cool. realised I'm going pretty slow here, considering how fast I could be going. It would be really cool to drive Locos in real life though, even if it was like on a heritage setup. I think that's really cool. Let's have a look. Decent speed limit here. Just push on a bit. Wow, this is so bright. I think I might remove these. They're just too bright in here. It's still very bright. Why is it so bright in here? Is it just me? I've knocked those out now. I wonder whether it thinks they're still there. It can't, surely. Alright, we're on the 70 limit, but we do have some tight bits coming up here, so let's ease back. To be honest, I don't really watch a great deal of the D6 headlights. Good point, good point. I'll have a look at those in a sec. To be honest, I don't really watch a great deal of I don't know what that is, the C30-7. Is that the real life version of this thing? It's a DH4 in this game. I know the models replicate real life Locos to a certain degree. Tell you what we'll do. Yeah, those D6 headlights are super bright. Where's my switches? Let's switch all that off. There we go, we can actually see now. I'm going to change these lights anyway, so I don't have any regrets for ripping those down because they are too bright. But they are down now. So GP8. I'm not too sure. So the DE6 is based on a real life model. I don't know whether it's like an Argentinian one. Anyway, you can have a look. There you go. There's the DH4. So it's a diesel hydraulic 4, which I don't know what that represents in real life. And then you've got the DE6s behind that, the diesel electrics. Yeah, so somebody mentioned this, and they actually made a video about it as well, where you can have any Loco, DE2, DH4, as long as it's compatible with the remote. And then you can remotely connect to your DE6 with these things. Wireless multiple unit controllers. And then you can operate the DE6 remotely with the DH4 or DE2 shutdown. Oh, I've just realised something, guys. We are heading up a perilous path up here. We're going to cut off to the right here, and we are going to face a monster of a hill, which... I don't know whether you guys have followed my playthrough. Doesn't matter if you haven't, but I had some real trouble on this hill. I'm going to start getting a bit of power down here, even though we're going 60, because we are about to head up a treacherous path. We're going up there, basically. I know we're breaking the speed limit a little bit, but it's alright. Yeah, I think what they've tried to do is model a specific image, specific locomotive, and then change it a bit, so that they probably don't get hit with any licensing stuff. Right, so this is the trouble here. We've got a 40 limit here. So I'm going to take heed and be careful with that. But at the same time, we've got a massive climb on our hands. So we go from climbing, as you can see on the inclinometer there, to level, to downhill a little bit. And then we're going to go up again. But we've got a train coming up, which is fairly hefty. And there we go, full uphill again. Full gradient. This is the challenge. We're going to need a lot of power here. Thankfully, we've got a decent amount of power on hand. Hit first warning of high temp on the DH4. Everything's on max power here. Thankfully we're not losing any speed, but we are into the high temps. We're burning oil like nobody's business. And I just realised I forgot to refuel this DH4 as well. Yeah, Megatron, in one of my episodes, one of my early episodes actually, I attempted it with 3 DE2s, sorry. And man, that was a total nightmare. I absolutely messed it up big time. In fact, I derailed, but thankfully only one of the Locos. Oh, there's our house, by the way, just in case anybody is interested. I've never been there, as from what I remember. I might have passed by, but yeah, it was in the dark as well, Megatron. It was a total nightmare. I rolled back like 3 times. Okay, we are in need of a little bit of brakes here. We need a bit of brakes, guys. Got a windy track here. About 2 bar of train brake, just shy of say called 1.8. My all-time favourite Loco in real life. Well, where are you based, Engage? So my favourite Loco in real life is the HST 125. There's others I like as well, UK models. 66 is obviously interesting, but I like the Class 40 as well, I think is beautiful. Don't really know a great deal of American trains, to be honest with you. I like the SD40, but it's probably just because it's featured heavily in Train Sim World, so I've had a chance to see it more and to drive it. Ooh, we need to be careful through here. So we are passing through Forestry Central. We do have a drop off here, but we'll be coming back this way. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Megatron. All three of those are very memorable. Very memorable indeed. This as well for me. This climb up to Sawmill as well is very treacherous. Wish I could get a bit of a better angle there. Oh yeah, I like the F7. I do like the F7. So is the Super Chief a different... Is it a variant of the F7? Oh, do you know, guys, we've gone the wrong way. So, after all of that, I said I was going to make a decision on this situation of reversing into oil well or going straight in, and after deciding, I forgot to throw this switch, didn't I? Wow, we're taking forever to stop here. I still think going with the original plan is like a million times better than trying to reverse. So we will go back here. Wow, that sounds like an experience with the 060 Megatron. I couldn't imagine attempting that with the 060. I think I did it with just one DE2 and I really struggled. It was only a light load as well. I could be just forgetting how hard it was there. I might have had 2 DE2s, I'm not too sure, I can't remember, but it was very early in the game. It was a total nightmare. Yeah, I do agree, Engage. I think the 66 is made by the same company that makes the 40, if I remember rightly. It was a question I raised because they sound the same. Yeah, UK locos don't tend to be as streamlined as the US. The passenger trains are, but the UK sort of goods diesels are not streamlined at all. Wow, I can imagine the DE2 and the SO60 together is a a challenge. So what were you doing? Were you driving the DE2 with a remote? That sounds like a total nightmare, Megatron, to be honest with you. I can't imagine having that scenario. I know the first time I drove the 060, it blew up just from standing, because I didn't realise, obviously, how much you needed to carefully maintain the water. That sounds like a good plan, to be fair, using the DE2 with the remote. I know people do make a big deal out of the DE2 and having nothing in front of it so that it cools, but yeah, I don't think it's that big a deal. Like, it doesn't tend to affect it that much, in my opinion. You can run it backwards just fine as well. Yeah, I agree, Engage. I think the UK trains are pretty good looking, to be fair, and I think that's one advantage that they have. They are very tight-fisted in terms of the, you know, they want reliable trains. So there's a new Class 99 that they've just got, which will be put on the track at some point. But but they're very much based on reliability and efficiency and all that stuff. Yeah, I thought the same thing with the DE2. I thought it doesn't really matter as long as you've got... As long as it's forward facing, I think that tends to help, but I don't think it really matters. Like, personally, I've never been in a situation where I've gone, oh, I really wish like this DE2 was forward facing, or I really wish it wasn't behind these cars so that it could be better cooled. I find the DH4 far more prone to overheating, but it's probably because of the loads that it pulls. Because the DE2 is very limited on the loads, isn't it? So I wouldn't consider like giving it a long... I wouldn't consider using it for a long haul these days. I think you use it at the start of the game because you're kind of forced to. As where now, I prefer to use the DH4, but as we've seen even on this run, the DH4 is very prone to overheating. I absolutely adore this station though. So industrial. So that's A5, so that'll be our second drop off. This one is A3 is there, so that's our first drop off with those rear 6 cars. It's already got cars in there. Right, let's get to the back. "46 cars. So these should be we should be stood on either 245 or 274. Neither. Why are we stood on 082? How's that happened? It's not the end of the world, but I'm just surprised, that's all. It's managed. We can do it. It's just I don't understand. I thought the 3 were at the back. So it's the other... Oh no, the 3 are... Sorry, I thought the 5 were at the back. It's the 3 that are at the back. So it's the other way around. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. I'll just detach them. 564. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is these rear three here will be pushed into one of those lanes. So what I'm going to do is just basically leave them there because we're going to come back round, which I explained when I was showing you the overview map. But what we'll do is pull those forward. So what have we got here? 245. Yep. Yeah, it's a bit of a roll of the dice when it comes to the jobs, Eric. It's one of those where it's like, it's just totally luck of the draw. I don't know how they decide what's going where, but like I really wanted a steel mill job coming out of goods, but I just didn't get one. I didn't get an interesting one for this live stream, so we're going about things in a slightly different way. Man, I've got a fly which is like buzzing around me now. It's driving me nuts. In the last 30 seconds, it's landed on me like 5 times. Wow, we're going pretty fast. Sorry, we need to push these back anyway because these babies need to be in here. Let's have a quick look. How much space have we got? Whoops. How much space have we got down there? Well, we've got enough space. I've been hitting cars so hard during this live stream though, I don't even think the game likes me anymore. I've been hitting the cars that hard. We'll have to see if we've got any fees outstanding because I've been hitting them a lot harder than what I usually do anyway. Alright, let's pull these babies forward. So like I said, we're going to have to go... We're currently in here. We're going to have to go out of here, past B, reverse down B, round... We've got 3 cars there that need to go in there. So that's what we're going to do when we reverse, and then we'll be facing the right direction to go out. So once these cars have passed here, we're going to go through B. I don't know which of these lanes will be free, but this one is. And in the meantime, let's go and validate this order, because hopefully it's all right. So we'll be passing through B. So this lane is free. We've got a DH4 there as well if we needed extra help. But all these lanes are full. Let's validate this anyway. So yeah, we got a time bonus there as well. So we did that in 40 minutes out of 52. So let's focus on this next little bit. So this is what I'm saying about this game. I really have no concerns about my locos at the front there. There's nothing for them to run into. There's no other traffic. And this is what will change when AI and, you know, multiplayer potentially becomes a thing in the future. What am I doing? Right. Right, so next up we are going to go through B yard. Oops. And then head round this way, where the switch is already switched for us to go that way. Push those 3 that are there. In there. Yeah, absolutely, Eric. That's the thing with this game. So I'm trying to think now. There was a Steam discussion that was opened up where somebody was said that they felt like the remote was cheating. Actually, no, it wasn't the remote, it was the dispatcher mode where you get to throw switches on the map. They felt like the dispatcher mode made the game too easy to be able to throw switches using the map. And I said, well, from my perspective, I'm driving a train. I would normally have groundsmen or whatever throwing switches. Some sort of a dispatcher that I could contact via radio and say, I need you to switch that switch or whatever. And so to me personally, the dispatcher upgrade, the dispatcher license isn't a cheat. It's actually absolutely necessary. Unless there was some other means of throwing those switches. Which at the moment there isn't, apart from the switch setter. Which we do have as well, but I find the switch setter useful for determining the direction of the next switch. Which I should have been paying attention to when we approached that switch up there. When I went the wrong way. So this is the route that we came in on, this line here. And we are now running parallel alongside it, and we're going to connect up to it again here. I love this track layout here though. But yeah, I think the dispatcher license isn't a cheat. I do think it's necessary. And yeah, you're absolutely right, Eric. You would normally have a helper, wouldn't you? There we go, get those parking brakes released by coupling up like that, and we'll push these babies in here, and then yeah, I did say I was going to finish the stream at 1 o'clock, but I might just keep going. Just had to send a text. Sorry about the view there. So we could use the coupler here to couple these up, which will be mean that the parking brakes there would be released, but we're nearly in now, so kind of pointless. Just had a thought. I know it's a dangerous prospect, me thinking we're gonna have to go back further because we are actually we're gonna need to clear this switch. So I'll go forward, switch the switch, then I'll go back again, and we'll push past that switch. Yeah, it's like with games, it's often a case of, I find with story-based games, I just want to do this part before I save, and then I'll know where I'm at. In this instance, I'm just having such a really good time with this. I really want to get these jobs completed. Right, so with that in place, we'll start to reverse and then I'll go and validate that order. Without, hopefully, building up too much speed. Yeah, so I'm streaming in the dining room, which is connected to the kitchen, and my wife wants to be in to cook some stuff, so I've told her. Oh, we did get a bit of a charge there. A bit of a deduction. I thought that those charges were through the machine usually. I didn't think they got deducted from your fees that you get paid. Let's see. Wow, what's that? Right, that's a Loco, right? Yeah, that's the DE6 that we're still using. So yeah, that makes sense. These are all damages. I think we'll just wait till we're finished to clear those. Let's see where our train is. Don't want to be going too far. Still got a little way to go yet. Yeah, I totally agree, Megatron. I hope that you're not pressing Alt F4 together though. We wouldn't want that. But yeah, I know what you mean, Alt and then F4 for the overview. The overview screen, which is showing that I barely have any fuel left. Well, I do have a decent amount, but not a great deal. Just reading the chat. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think, so, actually, you know what, I wanted to mention this, and I don't know how many people are going to watch this stream compared with how many watch my videos, but I mentioned a little while ago that I really wish there was a device which was a reversing camera. And you could install the camera at the rear of your train, and you would be able to set up a monitor in your cab where you could see the view that the camera is giving you. Now, the new UK Locos, and I've only just remembered this, the Class 99s, they've got a camera installed. A reversing camera, like a car. And I was amazed at that. Because it's logical. But it's also something that's, in real life, a thing. I didn't know it was, but I was watching a video on the 99 the other day, and I was like, wow. And the cameras even they've got their own wipers, like wash and wipe option, which I think is quite cool. Right, we're almost into the red here. What I'm going to attempt to do here is to shut down the DH4. We just heard come to a stop, so we'll utilise the DE6s. So I'm now heading to our next stops. We've dropped up our first two, which is good. We're now going to we're going back through Forestry Central, which is a drop to C2I. So let's have a look. Forestry Central. That's a bit awkward, isn't it? But we will have a Loco on the line here, which might be good to peel the rears off. Yeah, I think we'll use that Loco there. Because it's an awkward track layout, that, for getting into sea. So we could either just go straight through and then reverse all the way into sea, or we could utilise the Loco that's here. Let's see what speed I'm going here. It's a 40 limit. Wow, that's a little tight. Yeah, I think we'll peel those rears off. I'm hoping it's something like a DM3, which is usually up there, to be fair. We've got a 30 limit here, though. How heavy is this lot? 432 tons. Alright, that should be interesting. So there was a DM3 parked there when we came through, but whether it's still there or not, or has been despawned, is another question. You can see it on the map there. You can see a Loco on the map there, whether it's the same one or not. I don't know, we probably should have checked at oil well, or oil refinery, sorry, to see if it's still the same Loco. There she is. Can she manage the weight? Haven't driven this thing for so long. Can't remember how the lights work. That's one thing that I'll have to admit. Right, so there's the rear of our train. I don't know why I'm attempting to drive two trains at the same time, but... Oh, there's the speedometer, it's a big one. Right, so we are pulling, what's that, 9 cars. So it's up to here, isn't it? 257. She's moving. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I like the jump from whatever that first, so gear 1 to gear 3 we're now in. We'll go to 4. And then I think I go 6 next. And then 8. So you can skip gears in this Loco, which is quite good. I just can't remember the lighting configuration. So I think that will do nothing to start off with, apart from select the direction, but because there's no lights on. So I think that might be right. Oh no, it isn't. So that selects direction. I think that'll be it, I think. So if we go like that. Yeah, so that top switch selects direction, and then the bottom ones are the brightness. So I've got one brightness on, and then I've got obviously the rear. That switch is off, indicating that. Now that one's on, indicating that that's the rear light. If you had it like that, you'd have two lots of headlights at either end. So it's quite simple if you think of it. When you approach it, it's like that. And the top switch indicates which one you want to be the rear. And then once you've chose, then you start to put your lights on. And that indicates we're on the first brightness. Alright, where are we going? I think we're going in there, aren't we? So B2I. So you just need to be past this switch here. Because if you had that the other way around, the lights are the opposite direction. So everything's manual with this train. It's nothing. And then you've got full B, brighter. Yeah, there's nothing automatic with this one. Oh yeah, we've got the brakes are different as well with this one. Where's my brake gauge? So we've got one bar on there, so it's non-self-lapping, so slightly different experience with the brakes as well to what you normally get. And we mentioned the Class 66 earlier, well it's exactly like that. And 2 is free, so that's a good start. So we're in gear 4 there. You can stall this thing if you don't have enough revs, but she'll be fine now, I think. Alright, everything's going well. That's going in the right place. Pressed the wrong button. Right, hold on. Wow, that's different now. That used to go up straight away. Right, anyway, there we go. Right, we'll shut it down. We will put the parking brake on. Right, let's go and get paid off this one, and then we'll probably just leave clearing the fees to the end, I think. Where's the station house here? Station office. I always call it the station house. Here it is. Right, let's get this in here. Trying to put it in the wrong machine now. There we go. So no time bonus, unfortunately. We're probably just over with that one. Or quite a bit over. But I think the game would assume that you'd be doing that first. It would assume that you were going straight there, I mean, as opposed to dropping off other orders first, which is what we've done. Right, let's get back up here. I'll reconnect up this, by the way. Oh, it already is. Right, let's get a move on. Right, now that we're on the way, let's have a look, see what's next. So we've got a drop-off at Oil Well Central next, which is a decent amount of cars, to be fair. There's 15 cars going there to B6S. So I think if we continue back the way we came and then reverse through farm to Oil Well Central, the other option is to go right here and then reverse into Oil Well Central, reverse into farm, reverse into steel mill. So that'll be our final destination, Steel Mill A6I. So B6S, B2I, and A6I. So let's have a look at Oil Well Central then and see how that is laid out. So there's only really B apart from a couple of A yards. So if we're reversing in that way into B6I, B6S, sorry, that'll be where we'll be dropping off those 15, and that will severely lighten our load. I mean, we're reversing, you know, either into Oil Well or into farm. I think let's reverse through farm. It just means, unfortunately, going down this treacherous hill. We'll ease off on the power. The other option there, if we weren't doing Forest Central, we could have come down that way and then in there, but yeah, we're going around this way, aren't we now? Is that steel mill directly ahead from here? Yes, it is. So that's our final location there, right in front of us right now. Here's farm. Building up a bit of speed here, but it's alright. We've got a 60 limit here. We'll just put a tiny bit of brake on just to keep everything under control, really. Does it look like there's 15 here? Yep, there's 15, alright. Right, what's our most efficient route through farm then? Not that we can see a great deal out here now, but... Are we coming in this way? Coming in this way, so... We could go through the loading yard. Oh, B's got a straight through route as well. Alright, so this should be pretty straightforward really, overall. Just straight back through here. Oil Well Central is like literally so close to here. I think we can tell from the map there, it's a tiny bit of countryside. But yeah, this is where I'd like to be able to sit in the cab and have a reversing camera mounted to the back of this. Like, basically the same as the reversing sensor. So I was pleased when they did bring out the reversing sensor because it certainly step in the right direction in terms of giving you a bit of more control from the cab. Just again checking B success. All good. Yeah, with the shorter train now, the brakes don't take as long to come on, so that makes it easier. So after this we'll have, so that's 8, sorry, and 4, so 12. Bit of a squeeze here, like 15 cars in here. Tons of tankers here. Alright, we are going onward to farm. Let's find the station office as we come out of here. Don't know where it is actually. Hold on. It's over here. So there we go. 80 minutes it took us, but yeah, we've done a lot more than just come here. Two jobs left to drop off. 2B2I farm. Very difficult to see this now in the dark. Well, we came through B, so we're just heading literally back. Once we've gone through, we'll just reverse. With all our switches still set exactly as they were, we've got nothing to worry about with our train going through here. We know what was on the tracks and what wasn't. Again, B2I. What we're looking for here. B2I is right there. Don't know why sometimes it doesn't work. Alright, so our last stop is going to be Steel Mill. And just while she's rolling on, let's go and find the station office. I think it's around here actually. Whoops. So there we go. Again, no time bonus. Making absolutely tons of money though anyway. Final 4 cars. I think we can shut this DE6 down, sorry. So just on single DE6 now. Right, so we're going into Steel Mill, no worries. Steel Mill, we're going to be into A6I, which is obviously in the A yard, so it's at the far end. So we want to be through B. So that'll be taking us through there. Once we get through, we want to be in A6I. So we'll have to throw that switch once we've passed it. That's wrong. There we go. We'll use our switch setter for that. Didn't notice that. Thankfully. That's why we've got it. So useful for stuff like that. Wow, so this live stream's been like way longer than what I intended, and I'm really grateful for everybody who's joined and watched. It's been amazing. I really have enjoyed it. I've just noticed, guys, sorry, I wasn't getting any updates on the chat there. I've just got those last couple of chats, Eric and Ron, thank you. Yeah, so we haven't hit any of the time bonuses because the game, when it gives you the time limit, it wants you to go straight to that station, is where we've gone to like 6. We've done 6 different drop-offs, so we're not going to get time bonuses for these ones because we haven't gone straight there, we've done other stuff first. There's our slug. All parked up and ready to be picked up. Right, so we're going to be reversing in here. Great to see the stars out. I think they were missing for a while, but the latest update brought those back. Almost in now. Alright, so parking brake on, or parking brakes on should I say, this one. Disconnect, we'll switch off this one, and I'll stick one parking brake on here just for security. There we go. Right, let's go get paid, let's see how we did. And we'll clear our fees as well, because we've got a few fees outstanding from some of the trucks that have been bumped along the way. So there we go. No time bonus. 91 minutes. It took us... it took us 91. And we're well and truly over that. But we did make over 1,000 just doing those jobs. So that was immense. And I really hope you enjoyed it, guys. We do have some fees outstanding, especially the D6 that we've borrowed. Wow, look at that though. What's that one? Vehicle damage. Double header there. On some tanks. We've managed to go for so long without having any damage. It's a bit worrying, right? I'm just going to clear all these. Actually, we'll manually service that one. Not now though. Actually, I'll do it now, and that will end this stream. I hope you've enjoyed it, guys. Manually service these babies just to finish off here. I'll use the DH4 for this. So that's all our fees cleared as far as damages go. Thanks guys, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining, Neil. No worries. Really hope you enjoyed it, and hope you enjoy if you get around to watching it at the back over Eric. Thank you so much. And Ron, thank you so much. And thanks to everybody else that's joined as well. It's been awesome. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, in the next sort of step of what I'll be doing, as mentioned earlier, I'll be aiming to head back to City South, sorry, if I can remember the name of where we actually need to go. And then once we're there, we will be tackling restoring the 282. Now, whether that comes after another live stream or not, I don't know. It's been really successful, this one, though. I've really enjoyed it. So it's the type of thing where this has been really good. So I'll aim to do more live streams. I was asking earlier, do you guys prefer YouTube or do you prefer Twitch, or is there something else that you like? Yeah, I totally agree, Megatron, and I think all the ideas of doing random jobs, I think, as well, is something that I'll make some sort of attempt to incorporate, because you can, for example, you can point the stream towards a website, for example, if you want to use like a random selection tool or whatever. So we might do a live stream where we do random jobs. I think that would be quite interesting. Thanks for that, John. Yeah, I don't really use the others either, so... Oops. I think the only other one that I'd consider really is Twitch at this stage, but we'll see. Right, let's get this thing refueled. Let's get all of these refueled, should I say, and serviced. So, let's see how much it's going to cost us. So I'm not entirely too sure which one we're on here. So we're on the L004, which I think... Oh no, that's the one that we've borrowed. So 11,000 versus 23. So we've saved a lot of money there by doing it here. Always such a big saving. This must be our D6. 00077, sorry. Yeah. And that will leave the 008, which is our DH4. Okay, so this is going to be interesting because it's the most in need of fuel, this one. $42.5. So there we go. And that concludes this one, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Really, thank you so much for joining me. Hit the like button. I should really have a graphic to throw up here to say thanks. But yeah, I can attempt to make one really quickly. I don't see why not. But yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed it, guys. And if you have, obviously, please do hit the like button. Let me put up a quick graphic, I think. Pop this together. thank you so much for the support anyway. I really appreciate it, and glad you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. I love this game so much, actually. It just makes it so much easier to do. It's a very good game for making content with, because it's so much fun once you get into it, and there's so much to explore. I'm just going to add this image. There we go. We're up with the image. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, obviously please do hit the like button. I'm sure you guys are already great at supporting anyway, so you'll already probably be subscribed to the channel. If you're not, I'd love it if you go ahead and do that. Hit the notification bell for up and coming videos. We're obviously covering more than just Derail Valley. There's a lot of simulation games that are coming out. A lot of them are similar, so I do mention that. I don't get paid at all for covering videos, but I do get codes from publishers from time to time. I've had quite a few recently. There's a game that I'll be covering this week called Faraway Train, which is a interesting game. I'll certainly be giving my views on that one, so that may well be the next video that I publish. But yeah, guys, so much more as well coming. Purchased a couple of things, and a lot of these games come out of my own library. I think I stated in episode 100 that I did buy Derail Valley with my own money, so it's not a code that I've received from the publisher, and I paid, I think, the highest price that this has been for the game at £33.50. This is a game which has gone up in price over time. It's something that started off, it's sub £20 and has gone up and up, obviously, as value and interest has increased. So I thought at the time, I didn't know whether I'd like the game at first. I think I refunded it initially because I didn't think I'd get into it. I thought it would be something that wasn't for me. And just like some of my favourite games of all time, just persevered, pushed on, and it's become one of my favourites. So thank you so much for joining me, guys. And yeah, we'll be doing more of this, so please do stay tuned. Right, guys, I'm going to sign off now. Thanks so much. Please do take care.